Hello there. You know, in this game of football, we've seen legends come and go. Unfortunately, the reality is we're never going to watch them forever, are we? Time is cruel, and these players, they do age. Unfortunately, the more they age, the less they have to offer. And now, that time has come for Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best midfielders in football. We do not know what the next chapter is going to be, but we do know that his chapter at Manchester City is all but over. Without further ado, we're going to react to ESPN FC's thoughts and opinions on the matter. The full video will be linked in the description below, so do check it out if you wish to watch the full video. Here we go.
So Kevin De Bruyne is set to leave Man City when his contract ends this summer. He put out a letter on social media announcing
Where's he looking at? Where's he looking at?
It's one of those nice arty moments.
Okay, so
Premier
looking
League
into the
Oh, for goodness sake, Ali. Anyway, back to the video.
future.
So you can imagine that Pep Guardiola is pretty sad about this news.
Sad day. A happy day for the fact that the pleasure personally that we live, or I live this time with him. What he gave us, all of us, his humanity, and of course, don't necessarily tell his influence in our success in the last decade. That will be impossible to imagine, like, without him. There's no doubt he's one of the greatest, for sure, because of his consistency, except the last years, year and a half, that I had injury problems, and the consistency, and in important games and not important games, and every 3 days being there all the time. So that is no doubt.
Yes, I do agree. He is one of the greatest midfielders ever in the game. And yeah, it's quite unfortunate all those injuries happened. Coupled with Manchester City's dip in form, really didn't help matters. And yeah, he's given a lot to Manchester City over the years. I suppose it's time for a new chapter. And I wish him all the best, really. I can't wait to see which other club he goes to. But I can't even imagine how Pep Guardiola must be feeling at the moment. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne has been the pillar in midfield for Manchester City over the years. And to lose someone like that, goodness me. The same thing happened with Real Madrid. When they lost Toni Kroos, you could see the gap in the midfield exposed this season. So perhaps it's going to have the same effect. Who knows? Maybe not. I'm quite curious to see who they replace Kevin De Bruyne with next season. But truly, he's going to be a huge miss, certainly. Back to the video.
We now welcome in Ian Darke and Mark Ogden, as well as Frank Leboeuf still here. Let me start with you, Ian, because this truly will be the end of an era at Man City for a true Premier League legend.
Yeah, and I think in any conversation about the greatest midfield player in the history of the Premier League, and you're talking over 30 years, De Bruyne is in there, and a lot of people would have him as number one. 6 Premier League titles, I think 6 times voted in the Champions League Squad of the Year as well, among many, many trophies. He's a beautiful player at his best. He really is, and it is the end of an era. His ability to see a pass that other people don't see, to wait a pass, to create, to score as well, to be an inspiration. I mean, he's been fantastic. Yeah, he's lost a yard of pace now because the injuries have caught up with him. So it probably is.
I mean, I do agree with everything you said there. What a player, certainly one of the greatest players in PL history. 6 Premier League titles, second most assists in PL history. I mean, goodness me, what an achievement. He will certainly be missed. And yeah, what a player. Back to the video.
The right time to go, but what a player.
How hard is he going to be to replace, Mark?
Well, I was thinking this earlier. When you think of the greats that Ian's talking about, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, of the Premier League era. Well, Chelsea didn't replace Lampard. Liverpool didn't replace Gerrard. Some players are impossible to replace, and what City will have to do, they'll have to find a way to play without De Bruyne. And to be fair, they have been doing that over the last 18 months. His injuries have caught up with him, and he's not being the regular player that he was. So I think they'll kind of hope that Phil Foden can recapture his form. I know that City are quite keen on Florian Wirtz, but I don't think he's a like-for-like replacement. So they're just going to have to find a way. You know, they have to a new era without Kevin De Bruyne. But like I say, I think they've been getting used to life without him since they won the Champions League in 2023. He had a hamstring injury that game as well. So injuries have caught up with him, and he's 34 in the summer. So I'm not really surprised that this is happening now. So I think the evolution has already started, but you're never going to find a like-for-like replacement. I agree. He's definitely top 3 midfielders of the Premier League era.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said there. Real Madrid still hasn't replaced Toni Kroos, and you just have to believe that none of these players will ever be replaced, at least not like for like. You just have to move on with the players you have and hope to sign a player who can bring something different. And that is exactly what City are going to do. There's just never going to be another Kevin De Bruyne. It's just not possible. So, yeah. Hopefully, like he said, Foden, gets back in form, or they sign another player who can bring something different. But, yeah, it is the end of an era, when it comes to De Bruyne. There's never going to be another Kevin De Bruyne, that's for sure. Back to the video.
Would you agree, Frank?
Definitely. And the 2 others that Mark is naming are absolutely fantastic as well. You know what I loved about Kevin De Bruyne is that throughout the history of football, when we talked about one of the best players in the world, we talked about artists like George Best, like Diego Maradona, Johan Cruyff, and then Ronaldo, Messi, and so many others were unbelievable with the ball, capable of taking on any players and changing the pace of the game and everything. Kevin De Bruyne had something special. He still has, and it's maybe the right time for him to leave, because it's always better to give envy than pity for me. But he had the intelligence of the game. He was feeling it. He knew, he was anticipating everything. He didn't need 3 touches, didn't need to take on any players to deliver the biggest assist in the world. And we saw that so many times throughout all his career. It's what I loved about that guy. And that guy was playing for football. He was playing for the others. He wasn't playing for himself. He was playing for the others. He was delivering for the others. And it's what I really loved in his football. That's for me the best in the best. It's why I was a big fan of Michel Platini, for example, because he was kind of a player like that. Kevin De Bruyne was playing for the others. That was absolutely masterpiece.
I mean, it's common knowledge at this point, right? The players with the most stats, with the most numbers, are the more recognized, while players like Xavi, Iniesta, Toni Kroos, Kevin De Bruyne, and even now Pedri, they don't get the same recognition as the others. And, there's a degree of unfairness there, but that is the reality. And though currently players like Pedri are being noticed for what they do and for how much they do on the pitch, and, I just love that, I mean, Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, for goodness sake. So that says a lot about what players like these do that, gets overshadowed by players like Vinicius or Lamine Yamal, which, don't get me wrong, these players still deserve all that, but at the same time, we must treat the midfielders the same, because they do quite a lot, probably even more, to be honest. But yeah, I do agree with some of his sentiments, of course. The beauty about the game of football is, as we watch the legends we've all come to love and enjoy watching bow out of the game due to age, of course, there are new generations of legends to be that are born. And that is the circle of life in football. We get to enjoy players like Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Vinicius, Bellingham, Musiala for years to come. And when their time is up, there'll be the next generation that will carry on the legacy of football. So I can't wait to see what the next chapter for De Bruyne would be. Hopefully it's still top flight football, but if it isn't, that's fine. He's given a lot to football, and I wish him all the best. Comment down below how you see Man City moving on from this. What club do you see Kevin De Bruyne joining? Your comments will be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.